Good morning. I know I didn't give a whole heck of a lot of notice I was going live here this morning. Mostly that's my fault. It's all my fault. But things just got wrapped around a little bit around the axle this morning, and the things didn't come together like they usually do. I was up on time this morning. I was getting things done on time this morning, and then the wheels just sort of fell off of everything. Computer system started running slow. The wife's phone didn't want to work. Uh, Neither one of us even really felt like eating any breakfast this morning, so we didn't. Uh, and then she leaves for work, and I go back and I get my shower, and I'm starting to get ready to put together the stream and get my infusion running and everything else. And hell, even the infusion's running slow. I should have been on my second syringe by now, and it's still on the first one. So I don't know what's going on here this morning. Seems like everything and everyone is just running slow as all get out today. So well, we'll see what's going on. We'll see. Now, I should be on my second or third needle by now, and the first one's still trying to pump through. But anyway, yet 34 years and counting. Yesterday was our wedding anniversary. 34 years we've been married. Been together 35 and a half years because by the time we got married, we've been together about 18 months. So I don't even remember the date of our first date. It's kind of funny, when we first when we first met, she's working in a fast food joint, and she had two jobs. She's working at a fast food joint, and she's working at a preschool. And of course, I had two jobs. I was active duty military, and I was working for a video store doing equipment repair. And sometimes I worked the front desk if I didn't have anything going on, and helped out with running the videos and equipment and such. But the bulk of my time was spent in the back doing repair work. And I wasn't asking for much money. I was just asking basically for uh, guaranteed enough money every month to make my car note. It was more to fill time than anything else because I was getting tired of drinking and everything. And so, anyhow, she worked at the fast food joint. I stopped in and got sandwiches at. And then she would come over to get movies from us since the preschool she worked at was really close to where the video store was. They'd come over and get movies from us, and I'd let them in early so they get the movies and get out. We never charged them for them because they're getting kids' movies, so we never charged them for them. Excuse me. And then one day I just went to the store and asked her out. Actually, I gave her my phone number 4 times. Twice her best friend threw them away on her, and she lost it once. So the fourth time I gave it to her, I told her, I said, well, if you lose my phone number again for some reason, that'll be the end of it. I won't bug you anymore. I'll find a new place to get food at, and I just won't bug you no more. We ended up going out to dinner. Going out, our first date was at 2 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't at Waffle House, but it was a Waffle House kind of place. We had a good date. Uh, Both of us used to work in swing shift, getting off at between midnight and 1 in the morning. So we went and had omelets for breakfast, or for our first date, omelets and coffee and such. And these just weren't your standard egg, ham, and cheese omelets either. I mean, it was more like hash brown potatoes, bell peppers, onion, jalapenos, tomato, cheese, sausage, ham, bacon, all cooked together and then rolled up in the side of a omelet style egg, then covered with sausage gravy. I know it sounds absolutely disgusting, but I want to tell you, it was absolutely delicious. I've made them a few hundred times over the years since. Don't make them too often because, in fact, it's probably been 2 or 3 years since the last time I made them. But last night we decided we went out to dinner and we picked one of the nicer restaurants in town that we both like. We've been eating there off and on for about 20 some odd years, mostly for anniversary dinners, but we get out of town family in and we want to take them out to a nice place. That's where we take them. It's one of those restaurants where you walk in and you can figure in the evening dining like we did last night, 75 to $100 a person for their meal. Uh, I got she crab soup with sherry. Oh God, absolutely amazing. Absolutely freaking amazing. That their she crab soup. It's just in order to make this bowl of soup last me as long as I could. I was just sort of dipping my spoon into it and not getting a spoon of the soup, but just the what stayed on the spoon and eating that. Absolutely freaking delicious. And it probably took me a good 20 minutes to eat that soup, whereas usually that bowl of soup would have been gone in under 5 minutes. If it's been like a bowl of tomato soup. And I did not waste one drop of that $15 bowl of soup. Yes, $15 for that bowl of soup. I even took a piece of bread and wiped that bowl clean. Not one drop of it got wasted. But that stuff is just so good. It's a shame. The wife had a really nice salad with blistered tomatoes and just all kinds of good stuff into it. Thing I remember most about was seeing the blistered tomatoes because I hadn't seen blistered tomatoes on a salad before, and I think I'll do that again for her sometime because she really liked that. Excuse me a second. Y'all didn't need to hear that cough. But then came time to order dinner. The wife does not like seafood. She, her idea of good seafood is, well, at first it was Mrs. Paul's fish sticks. And then she tried fish tacos made with tilapia. And if you've ever had tilapia, you know there's no taste to it whatsoever. So she got a filet mignon, which is her favorite cut of meat, with mashed potatoes, a um, wine base, demi-glace, and green beans, French green beans. They're a little more narrow and longer than American green beans. They looked really good. They looked like they really did a great job cooking them. But our waitress, our server, beautiful young lady, sparkling personality. I tell you, whatever guy gets hooked up with her is getting a firecracker of a young lady. She is, I mean, her personality is so big it's not funny. But she recommended a swordfish dinner for me on forbidden rice. Now, I've never had forbidden rice before. And it was a very interesting. Uh, it, it reminded me of a couscous in size, but it's black. And at first, I thought it was cooked in, like a couscous cooked in squid ink. But I come to find out that black rice is also known as a purple rice or forbidden rice, a range of rice types of species. Don't even ask me to pronounce that. Okay. But it was absolutely delicious. I've never had anything like that. So it's not that bad either. I mean, price wise, you can get the organic stuff for uh, $5, $6. Was that? Looks like it's probably a half-pound bag. Yeah, 15 ounce. So almost a pound for $7. So yeah, it's not bad. I mean, a half-pound of rice will last you a little bit. I mean, you can get a few meals out of it. But it was. Then it had the swordfish on top of that. Then baked, not fried, but baked crab cakes. Well, crab cake, a big crab cake, and then a hollandaise sauce on top of it. It's just coming down across everything. And the only mistake I made in eating that last night, the only mistake, and I should have known better, but I've never had swordfish before. And this was just, I mean, the chef did an amazing job. The food was absolutely delicious. The flavoring and the seasoning of the swordfish, it was so tender and flaky, and the flavors were so subtle, absolutely delicious. So I'm sitting there and I'm eating this really, really slow just so that I can enjoy the flavors of it. and the skin come off of it, and I should have saved the skin for last. I really should have. But I ate that about three-fourths of the way of what was on my plate. And that skin, I really should have saved it for last because the flavors were just uh, a lot more pronounced on it. Absolutely delicious. Absolutely. I could not ask for a better meal. And then they gave us a chocolate rice or a chocolate uh, I almost called it a chocolate pie with coconut shavings, but that would be derogatory to the what the dessert was. And she went and she had decorated up happy 35th anniversary with a little heart on it. And, that was really beautiful. So, and then the whole meal came out to $150 for the two of us. I gave a $60 tip to the young lady because she was really did a wonderful job. I was planning on spending 200. I went figuring I was going to have to spend $200. So I spent what I figured I was going to spend, but then came home with a little bit extra money in my pocket. But I wasn't planning on $200 for the meal and $50 for the tip. So 150 for the meal and $60 for the tip. Yeah, she done a little bit better than what. Now we won't spend that much on a meal. My God, I spend $150 at the grocery store. That feeds the two of us for a week almost. So yeah, but anyway, really had a wonderful weekend. Really, the anniversary dinner and then the time we spent together afterwards. And for the day, I mean, we pretty much spent the whole day. Once I got up, spent the whole day together and reminiscing and such. And she she goes, we need to spend the next 34 years together. And I'm like, come on now you're making it sound like a prison sentence. You want to sentence me to 68 years? All right, enough of that. That's what only 19, 20 minutes talking about my day yesterday and the anniversary dinner, but it was absolutely delicious. I Like I said, this is a once a year thing for us to go out and spend that kind of money on a meal. I don't know other people, they go out and spend that every couple of months, go out and pop a couple $100 down for dinner. But the wife and I, we just sort of like we don't want we want to make that kind of a meal to be something memorial, something we're going to remember. I can remember almost every meal I've had at that particular restaurant. I will tell you, I always start off with the same thing as she crab soup. I will not start off, that's an automatic. The young lady, she goes, we sell that she crab soup by the quart before you take home. I'm like, yeah, but then that would ruin it for me. It would no longer be that something special if I have a quart of it sitting in my refrigerator in the house to eat whenever I want it. I want this. I want that she crab soup to, sort of like Monkey talks about his uh, German chocolate cake. He only gets it on his birthday. Well, that's the way I am with that she crab soup. That's my anniversary soup. So, okay, enough about that topic. One of the things I've been thinking about here, and these current riots and protests at all the college campuses across the country. You will not convince me that these have not been coordinated. They are not, every college just spontaneously, all these groups spontaneously popped up and decided to protest. These are coordinated attacks. These are coordinated. That's all they're. You'll have a very difficult time to convince me otherwise. And some reason, for some unknown reason, I don't know why. I can't explain why, because I've never spent much time considering or uh, hey, Mass Creations, how's it going? Glad to see you. Really? Well, um, I've I took a little bit of a break there for reasons I'm not going to get into right now. But for the past couple of months, I've been streaming at least uh, 3 or 4 days a week. There's been a couple of weeks due to real life stepping up and saying I've got to be other places where I've only managed to stream 1 or 2 days during the week. But I don't think I've missed a Monday and Friday stream now for the past couple of months. Right now, you're it. I mean, the stream is only. I've only been. This stream's 24 minutes and 19 seconds. So the first 20 minutes is talking about anniversary dinner I had with my wife yesterday. How our anniversary went. And went out to eat at a very nice restaurant. So, but the that's all that was. Okay, but like I said, now though I'm getting into about these protests, and I'm not going to get into each individual one, each individual school about the damage they've done and whether or not the cops were right to go in and break them up and everything else. It's the fact that the protests are even happening and how coordinated they all seem to be. And like I said, it, it got me sort of reminded me of something else that it just sort of popped in my mind one day. Like I said, I had never given any great thought to it. Uh, It was part of my military history lessons I took while I was active duty. When I was going through the different academies, we discussed it. But other than that, that's about it. And that was the Cultural Revolution in China. And let's see here. Where is the story? Which story was? So I went and pulled up a, a couple of articles on it. And this first one here, if I can get it to share correctly, let me see if I can get this to share. Here we go. Yeah, you're right about that. I've seen that's it's been kind of wild, but the Chinese Cultural Revolution. Now, this is a Guardian article from about 7 or 8 years ago. And the key to this was college age kids. May of 1966, the attempt to destroy Mao's enemies by unleashing the people on the party and urging them to purify their ranks. Purifying the ranks, if you're not with us, you're against us. We're the tolerant people, and we will not tolerate anybody who's not tolerant. If you're not tolerant in the way we want you to be tolerant, and if you're not intolerant the way we want you to be intolerant, Luna, good morning, Sora. How you doing? Well, I hope you have a good day at work. I hope everything works well. And getting back to these kids, the, it, they've been protesting these kids today. They're protesting, and to the point that you can't even enter the school unless you're with them. If you do not agree with them, you can't even get on school property, whether or not you are a student. It doesn't matter. If you're a reporter, unless you agree with them and you're a part of them, you can't get onto the school property. If you're a student and you're not, and heaven forbid, if you're a Jewish student, they will physically block you from entering the school, or they would. And there's been plenty of videos of that out there. The violence these kids, and now I'm going to look at more than just these protests, but the protests in general. And yeah, I'm going to exclude the January 6th because That's at the January 6th protests. Uh, that was that unicorn protest. If we look at all the protests over the past 30 years, 99.9% of them are led by left wing kids. Yesterday was our anniversary, Sora. We had 34 years together, married. About 35 and a half, 36 years together overall. So now, I make no bones about it. I'm 64. I turn 65 in October. I lose my health insurance in October. My wife loses her health insurance because she's on mine. I got to figure out, we're trying to figure out how we're going to keep both of us covered. That's a major headache for us. But anyway, yeah, I lose my health. Yeah, I lose my current health insurance when I turn 65 on my birthday. I have to transfer over to Medicare, Medicaid. So, which is going to absolutely suck. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, here. The Cultural Revolution in China would not have worked if it had not been for the kids, for the college age students. They were the backbone. And as you see, a lot of these were women. The women were at the forefront of a lot of this. And when you see who leads a lot of these protests, who's the spokesman for these protests today, they're women. You don't see that many men out there leading these protests. All their spokespeople, all the people instigating these protests today are women. And the same thing was going on with the Chinese Revolution, with the Cultural Revolution starting in 66. And we do have the same thing going on here. The party chiefs the party chiefs in Beijing issued documents May 16th notification that warned that the party had been infiltrated by counter-revolutionary revisionists who were plotting to create the dictatorship of the bourgeois. Now, doesn't that language sound a bit familiar? If Trump gets in the office, he's going to be starting the dictatorship. He's going to destroy democracy. Conservatives, if they get in the office, if they take control, they're going to destroy democracy. The only way to save democracy is to get rid of the conservatives. Only we know what democracy is. That's what the left is out there chanting now. The party's about a month later, 2 weeks later. They urged the masses to clear away the evil habits of the old society by launching out an all-out assault on monsters and demons. Yeah, we gotta get rid of everything white in this country. We gotta get rid of it. It's whiteness that's caused all the problems in our country today. Gotta get rid of the old white people, white science, white math. We gotta get rid of white time. We don't need clocks because clocks are a sign of whiteness. It's evil. You see how it's the same old stuff, just regurgitated, revamped, put fresh lipstick on, fresh coat of makeup, and kicked over. Chinese students sprung into action, setting up Red Guard divisions in classrooms and campuses across the country. Sound familiar? Got all these groups all across every campus across the country here now. Red Guards urged the Red Guards to destroy the forward old ideas, old customs, old habits, old culture. That's the same thing going on right now. The tearing down of statues and destroying statues that have been up for 200 years. We can't have that statue up there because somebody might find it offensive. Well, we can't have those books. Somebody might, the writer was offensive. The ideas in there are offensive. We can't have these old ideas. Remember Thanksgiving? The left was sitting there, how to talk to your evil conservative uncle or aunt over Thanksgiving. You can't have a Thanksgiving dinner anymore. You can't have that nice Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving in and of itself, well, that's just plain racist. And you got to make sure you tell them how racist that Thanksgiving dinner is. Old ideas, old customs, old habits, they're all evil. Got to get rid of them. All that sound familiar? The four olds got to go. And our four olds, what are those that are being set out the way? These kids today aren't practicing anything new. These aren't new ideas that they're doing. They're just revamped. to fit this country and uh, our own styles, our own history. There's nothing new here. And like I said, I don't know what made me think of comparing what's going on today with the Chinese Cultural Revolution. But and what's really, what I'm feeling is the end result that these kids are pushing for is the same result that they were pushing for in China back in 66 through 76. The same ideas. Every, we don't, the ruling class is evil. It's got to be gotten rid of. Um, they don't know what to do. They don't know what we're about. Got to get rid of the old. Can't have anything to remind us of our past there anymore because our past is evil. Hey Tyler, how's it going? Schools, universities were closed. Well, ours are closed right now. They're canceling graduation ceremonies even. Churches, shrines, libraries, shops, and private homes are ransacked and destroyed as the assault on feudal traditions began. Well, again, while they haven't gone into the churches, they've gone into our shrines, destroying and removing statues because they didn't like them. Libraries, they want to say that the conservatives are, we're banning books. The only people that have actually banned books were the left. The conservatives, and on this point, I am saying that some books don't belong in libraries of elementary schools, of junior high schools, middle schools. Some of them even don't belong in high schools because they're so pornographic. The books themselves aren't banned. You want to go down to Barnes and Nobles, you want to go down to your local bookstore and buy them. You want to buy them off of Amazon and have them shipped either straight to your Kindle device, straight to your audio device, or have the hardback or paperback shipped to your house. You're more than welcome to. But the left are the ones that ban books from being published, even. You can't buy these. There's books you cannot buy, even on Amazon. Why? Because people on the left didn't like them. Party officials, teachers, and intellectuals also found themselves in the crosshairs. They were publicly humiliated, beaten, in some cases murdered, or driven to suicide after vicious struggle sessions. Yeah, struggle sessions. That is something that the leftists and these kids have. Confess your sins. The left has really made it a thing. We'll accept you after you've sat here and confessed your sins. You know you're guilty, so confess your sins about it. Oh man, I closed it. All right, here I am. I'm back. By 68, Mao realized his revolution has spiraled out of control. In a bid to rein in the violence, he issued to send millions of urban youth down the countryside for re-education. How many times have we been told that a student who disagrees with the teacher or with the class, or even an adult who disagrees, well, we just have to send you to class where you can learn why you're wrong. We need to get you re-educated on these facts. Hey, Wiley, how's it going? No, I did not see that, Wiley, but that does not surprise me. Yep, re-education camps in Germany. See, the left, these kids, they want to call everybody, Nazi. They want to call everybody Hitler. But they're the ones that are taking and using their tactics, not us. And when I say us, I'm a I I say I'm a conservative, but I actually would rather call myself a constitutionalist because there's issues that I that the conservatives support that I strongly disagree. Like this latest bill, anti-Semitism bill coming out of the Congress. I hope it doesn't have made it out of the House. I hope it doesn't make it out of the Senate. That bill is such an attack on the First Amendment. It's not funny. It really and truly is. That bill is such an attack on the First Amendment. Because if you use that bill as it is written, as it passed the House, you could ban the Bible. You could ban teaching the crucifixion of the Christ. Why? Because it states the fact that the Jewish people insisted that Jesus be crucified. And that would be considered hate speech against anti Semitic hate speech. No, Wiley, that's a protected religion. despite the fact that the amount of violence that it calls for, it's a protected religion. You know. So for at least for now, it's not going to get banned. Yeah, well, I am not a free speech absolutionist. All right, I do believe that there are limits. When your speech calls for injury, death, physical attacks on individuals, that is speech that needs to be curtailed by law. You should not be out there, be able to stand out there and say, we need to go to Shroom's house, burn his house down, and kill him or string him up by his toenails. You should not be able to say we need to go to Shroom's house and torture his wife in front of him for what he has said in the past. You should not be able to say we need to go to Shroom's house and punish him for what he has said because he's hurt our feelings. Exactly. There's a difference between hurting somebody's feeling, but talk when that talk is actually calling for violence or an assault on someone, on an individual or group of individuals. I mean, if you want to stand up there and say Shroom is a dumbass, my wife is liable to agree with you. And she loves me. And I'm just going, and it's like, okay. If you want to call me a dumbass, you can call me a dumbass. Call me a dumbass all day long. Because that is not an attack on me as an individual. So, but anyway, like I said, I'm not a free speech, absolutionist, but I do believe in free speech. And I believe there should be very few limitations on it. I don't know about that. Um, one thing about that, especially signs like that, Wiley, is if you have a sign like that, post it in your yard or on your fence or on your front door or something like that, and then somebody does break in, some dumbass prosecutor is going to take one look at that sign and say, yeah, you planned on killing somebody. You were hoping somebody would come on your property so you could kill them. That shows premeditation. You weren't defending your property. You were waiting for somebody to do something so you could kill them. That's why I and other people, if you have those kind of signs, take them down. If you've got stuff engraved on your gun, like shoot them all and let Jesus sort them out. That kind of stuff can really hurt you in a court of law if you're being prosecuted for murder. Tyre, I understand what you're saying, but it's okay. It's like the protest a few years ago. That woman saying, "We need our weaves. Don't burn down our area. Go over to the white folks' area to and burn them down." Okay, there was already a crowd there that had already shown tendencies to destruction, a willfulness to destroy. And if those people had gone on and to the quote unquote white folks town and wreaked havoc there, burning buildings and such, yes, I believe that she should have been prosecuted and convicted for her speech. Because her speech led them into committing that crime. Oh, and all those people should also be convicted also for what they actually did. No, Wiley, it's not. People chanting death to America is not a threat. Okay. However, anybody in the United States chanting death to America, and they are not a citizen of the United States, they are here on a visa. They should have their visas immediately canceled and then sent home. And anybody who is illegally in the country and they're under some DACA program or whatever, but you know, they should be sent home, sent back across the border. I'm one of those people that believe that the Constitution does not offer protections to people who are not citizens. If you're not a citizen of this country, you're here as our guest. And as long as you are a law abiding guest and you're not acting like a shithead, excuse my language, but you're not acting the fool, then you get to stay. But you start acting the fool, start protesting against the country, then it's time for you to go back to wherever you're from. Okay, chanting death to America, all right. America's a huge country. America is a country itself. It's not an individual. It's not even a location such as let's go down and burn downtown Burbank. Let's go down and destroy Wall Street. America is more of an idea than it is anything else. Oh, Riley, yeah, I know. And, you know, and I agree with your statement there that people who chant that, could be, I would have no problem even with American citizens. Anybody out there protesting and chanting death to America should be investigated for possible terroristic activities. I just don't think chanting it should be illegal for American citizens. It should not be a crime in and of itself. But if you're out there chanting that, the possibility of you being having being looked at isn't beyond the scope. But Tyre, I disagree. You're right. When they're chanting "Death to America," they're calling for the destruction of our way of life, destruction of our country. Okay, and that's why I don't have a problem with deporting non-citizens who are chanting it and keeping an eye on anybody who is chanting it to see if they are actively pursuing actions to follow up on that chant. And if they are actively taking actions to follow up on that chant, then that is what's illegal, not the chant in and of itself. That chant's nothing more than a red flag that they're saying that they're out there waving around saying, "Hey, look at me. Look at me. I may be doing something illegal." Because when you're calling for violence against an individual or you're calling for violence to be directed at a specific area, let's go down and burn, like I said, let's go down and burn down Wall Street. Let's go attack the Civic Center. Let's go burn down the police station. Those are specific targets. Well, Tyler, I mean, I've never claimed not to be an hypocrite. I just believe that some things should be illegal and some things shouldn't be. And I disagree with the idea of anybody chanting "Death to America" should be a crime. Should it be a red flag? Of course. But should you be prosecuted for saying "Death to America"? I don't think so. Hey, Digi, how's it going? Again, I disagree with you, Tyre. I don't think I don't think my logic is failing. I mean, it's like uh, it's like drawing out that circle and then expanding a circle. All right. At some point that you've got your at some point it's too much. Too much has become a crime. Because I mean, if saying death to America should be a criminal offense, just saying death to America should be a criminal offense and you should be prosecuted for it, prosecuted and jailed. And I don't care if the sentence is 1 day or a lifetime. Uh, Sitting in jail is sitting in jail. No, either it's all permitted or it isn't. No, I just believe that there are limits, and you have to draw lines. And for me, the line is if you are calling for the destruction of an individual or a group of individuals, if you're calling for a destruction of a specific person, place, or thing, then should be illegal and prosecutable. But to sit there and say that you know uh, death to America should be prosecutable, I just disagree with you. I don't think that in and of itself should be. Now, you get caught with a cache of arms, and you've got a maps and blueprints and drawings of the city hall, and you've got explosive devices. All right, everything in and of itself is perfectly legal to own, but you're also out there calling death for America, that or calling the chance to do to attack town hall. You've got the or you're out there calling chance to death to America, and you've got maps and drawings and blueprints of the town halls and the police station. You've got explosive devices. You've got firearms and ammo, which, like I said, owning explosive devices perfectly legal, in my opinion. Owning guns and owning firearms and ammunition and such perfectly legal in and of itself. But when you take that and that and that and that and that combined with your chance of death to America, now there's going to be an issue. Tyler, if you sit there and you're saying burn shroom all day long and you're in, uh, it's no secret I live in Florida, and you're in Washington State, you're up in Sacramento, and you're sitting there yelling, burn shroom, you don't have the opportunity to do so. So that leg of the chair is missing. That leg of the stool is missing. The opportunity. Now, if you're in contact with people who know me and know where I live and know da da da, and you're yelling burn shroom with them, Now there's the opportunity for something to happen. And if there is an attempt to burn Shroom, by these people that you've been interacting with and making that chant, then you are culpable for it. It's not any one thing, but it was the collective of things that would make you culpable. Because would Digi have done that without you egging him on? Would Digi had even thought about doing it without you planting the idea in his head? There's the entrapment used to be quite strong in the law that the police cannot or could not start up a group, propose illegal activities just to arrest people that they enticed into committing those crimes. Because those people never would have committed the crimes if it had not been for the police or whoever enticing them into doing it. Digi, you're a good guy. You're a good person. Ooh. Yeah. So, but anyway, but you see, that's part of the issue going on here with these kids today, though. And that's why I'm saying that this is why I believe that all these protesting going on at the college campuses, they're not grassroots. They're not popping up independently of each other. That this is being a coordinated effort. Now, is it coordinated by George Soros? Is it coordinated by uh, the Democratic Party or members of the Democratic Party? Is it coordinated with the Chinese? Is it coordinated with the Russians? I don't know. I just honestly believe that all these protests are that this coordinated mess. It's not an independent grassroots effort. Yeah, exactly, Wiley. You're exactly right. If you look at the pictures, I mean, where did all of a sudden did all those Pakistani scarves come from? All of a sudden, I mean, how many thousands of those things all of a sudden appeared on the market for these kids to start wearing? Where did they all come from? Who coordinated to have that many of that particular clothing item available for these kids to get their hands onto? They had to come from somewhere. And the tactics used by the kids. Somebody had to coordinate these tactics. They didn't just the kids all of a sudden all decide to do everything the same way. It had those tactics had to be coordinated from somebody. Yuck, I just got some of this crap on me. Swapping out syringes. Yeah, get low. The only thing that breaks it up is rubbing alcohol. Nasty stuff. Nasty, nasty. Yeah. But yeah, these kids, all these protests, and it's got all the earmarks, at least to what I can see, of being a coordinated effort by somebody, by some group. You know, let's, and why I'm not above believing that a group on the left is coordinating it was when it became public knowledge that all these protests at the Trump rallies were coordinated by Hillary Clinton's campaign, by people hired and paid by Hillary Clinton. That's why I don't put that stuff beyond them. They've done it before. I honestly believe the left will do it again. It's the same actors, the same groups of people that were involved in protesting and damaging and causing destruction, uh, hurting people at the Trump rallies, that they're not involved in one way, shape, and or form here. Maybe I'm just seeing ghosts, where there aren't any. Maybe I'm seeing things that aren't really there. Hey, Ramen, morning. Well, it's pretty sunny here. Nice little breeze going out there. So it's not gloomy at all. Yeah, the line of the day is burn shroom. Oh, this is just trying to express an idea that's been popping around in the back of my mind now for about a week or so, since all these protests popped up, and how I honestly believe that it's a coordinated effort. The same, and possibly by the same people that coordinated all the protests and everything during 2020, throughout the Trump uh, campaign in 2016. Now, those protests weren't organic protests. We all know that now. I didn't think they were organic protests then. But afterwards, when it came out that those protests were all coordinated through the Clinton campaign or people paid by the Clinton campaign, then it all made sense. And I just believe that all these protests now are also coordinated. That they've all got the same rules and tactic books. Hey, Raman, you're exactly right. You know, and that's why I don't have a problem with the civilian police being called in to break up these mobs, these protesters. 'Cause I don't mind you protest. If you want to protest, go protest. That is your right. But as I've said before, I've got a right to travel on the roads. So you keep your asses off the road. I've got a right to get into my place of work. So don't stop me from getting into my place of work. I've got a right to do my job. So don't stop me from doing my job. You can walk out front with signs and chant all day long. That's your right. Just don't disrupt or bar me from using my rights. Told this story before. Jim Brown, when he played for the Cleveland Browns, once got a flag thrown on him for biting the fingers of uh, the player for the other team. And when they asked him about it afterwards, he said, "Whatever's on that side of the face mask belongs to them. Whatever's inside the face mask belongs to me." If that other player hadn't put his fingers into Jim Brown's face mask, he wouldn't have bit him. The other player committed the first sin. He stuck his fingers where they weren't supposed to be. Then Jim Brown bit them fingers. Hey, Joshua, how's it going? Uh, Again, words have meanings, and the meanings of words can slowly change over time. Um, when I was a youngster and in Boy Scouts, we would go out to pick up bundles of wood, and a bundle of wood had a name, a faggot. Well, you don't dare use that terminology now because that is more than likely to get you in a lot of trouble. Okay. In fact, the Wikipedia definition of faggot Sometimes called a short faggot. A faggot of sticks equals a bundle of wood or sticks that's 3 foot in length and 2 feet in circumference. It's an archaic English unit applied to bundles of certain items. So, but that definition has changed over the years. It's oh, Joshua, it's like the younger people don't, they hate the emoji of the thumbs up. Don't do the thumbs up emoji. We're trying to ban that now. There's a whole list of emojis are trying to get rid that. Let's see, uh, 9 emojis to be banned. Let's see how that works. All right, here we go. Here's the actual article on it that I'd read. Let's see if I can open it because it's a New York Post article. Gen Zers are calling out the popular thumbs up emoji for being rude and hostile, even saying they feel attacked whenever they see it used in the workplace. Thumbs up emoji is passive aggressive. It's super rude if someone sends you a thumbs up. So let's see here. Try to get down to see which other ones. Uh, trying to find. Okay, the list of canceled emojis: thumbs up, red heart, the okay hand, check mark, poo, the crying face, monkey covering eyes, clapping hands, lipstick kiss mark, and the grimacing face. Those are what they want banned, in addition to, well, including the thumbs up emoji. Why the red heart? I don't know. I u- Joshua, I used to have, let's see, the Encyclopedia Britannica. I had the World Book encyclopedias. I had Webster's dictionaries, and a couple. I had a legal dictionary and a medical dictionary that I kept on my shelf back when I had room to have bookshelves. So now I don't own any of those books anymore, so I have to use the online stuff. But yeah, see, language has changed, and the question is who are we allowing to change our language, and do we allow our language to get changed just because it hurts? It hurts someone's feelings. That word hurts my feelings, so I can't let you use it anymore. What surprised me is they didn't get rid of they're not talking about getting rid of the eggplant emoji. Eggplant emoji was missing from that list. I wonder why. Shrimp says while laughing evilly in the background, or sarcastically evil. Oh, let's see. Back to my original article here. Mao used the little red book. And, the little red book was nothing more than a bunch of quotations that they used. There's, but, he did change the language. And he changed it quite drastically. Like I said, though, that was just this whole idea of all these protests being coordinated, being used as a way to attempt to change our country. They've been at it since at least 2020 in earnest. Find whatever excuse they can. Real or make up to protest and proclaim that their feelings are what's matter. And anybody who doesn't agree with them and wholeheartedly, not just agrees with them, yeah, I think you might be right, but wholeheartedly supports them is a Nazi or a Hitler. And then to top it off, even worse is if you do support them, and then you start thinking about, well, then you got to sit down and go through your struggle section or your re-education camp. Burns your fish sticks? Oh no! But anyway, that's really all I got for today. Uh, like I said, it's just wandering thoughts that pop through my mind. Uh, 34 years, the wife and I have been together last night, married. And ironically, it was also my parents' and my grandparents' anniversary. So Anyway, well, I just want to go ahead and tell you guys, it's been nice talking to you today. And Tyre, like I said, you and I disagree on this, okay? I got no problems with that. I got no problems with us disagreeing, okay? So don't think I'm going to try to ban you from the streams or anything. And I hope you come back because the discussion we had was a good discussion. And I'm glad we had it. Thank you. I appreciate you. So, everybody, have a good day now. Enjoy yourselves. Be with the ones you love. And of course, love the ones that you're with. And Joshua, go fix your fish sticks. Have a good one now.